Alrighty.
I think we are live. Yes, I see.
We are live.
Awesome. It's 8:30 dot. That must be
On the dot.
Yes. Just ready, rest stuff.
All right.
Okay.
Well, welcome everyone. Welcome Upasana, all the way from her kitchen in Pune, and here in Colorado Springs. Hi, Upasana.
Hi, Mi. How are you doing?
Good, good. So welcome everyone for joining us. This is Shadhika's first Facebook Live, and so we're crossing our fingers that everything will go well, that I will not burn anything, and that what I make following Upasana's direction is actually edible on my end. And I hope that you have your own ingredients as well, and you'll be able to follow along. We're also recording this, and then we'll share it again so that you can try it again at your own pace. But just a few words before we start. This is really our attempt to bring what's been happening over the last 10 days to you all. If you've been following us on social media and been receiving our emails, our Shadhika Scholars and Make Her Story Fellows have been really hard at work for the last 10 days, reaching out to girls and boys in their communities, in their families, to talk about the Girls' Bill of Rights, a Bill of Rights that was put together, put together the input of over 1,000 girls over 34 countries to really lay out for what they believed girls are entitled to, and so in the first part we will cook chai. We'll make some chai and some dosa for us to enjoy, and then we'll sit down at our own kitchen table to be able to talk about the highlights of those conversations, what's really on the minds of girls in India as they look at the Bill of Rights, how it resonates with them, and what came out of those conversations. And so over 10 days, it was a little bit over 150 girls and boys talking about this. And so in just a little bit, we'll sit down and chat through that. But until then, I'll turn it over to you, Upasana, so that you can demonstrate for us what we should be doing.
Awesome. I think this is very exciting to go live and just to have this, candid conversation over a cup of chai and talk about and celebrate the International Day of Girls together. So let's begin with boiling water. And so first, let's try making the chai, which is pretty simple. And I think it's one of the favorites in India, and we cannot live without it. So very simple. You can just take a cup or a mug, your choice, and we are going to use half a cup of water and half a cup of milk for that. So I'm going to use that.
So half a cup of water.
Yeah, half a cup of water and half a cup of milk. Equal.
Okay. Half a cup of water, which my water, by the way, was already boiling in this kettle. So.
Oh yes, awesome. So I'm just gonna
magic. That's the magic of cooking shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna take 2 minutes to boil my water. So
half a cup of water, half a cup of milk.
Yes. We could use the same cup, equal amount of milk.
Okay.
Any milk would do.
Okay.
You can
All
mix
right.
the both together in the pan.
So let
And
me tell you, so let me ask you this. Is it do chai is that how often do you drink it? Is it something that you drink every day? Is it a special occasion type of drink? Is there a certain time of the day, like English tea, where you have to have it at 5 p.m.?
I would say it's a mix of both, but then chai is like an integral part of Indian diet. So we generally start our day with a cup of chai, and there are actually varieties of chai across the country. So, the milk tea, which is with lots of chai patti, which is leaves, and ginger, and some people also like it with cardamom, and some people also like it with cinnamon. So that's masala chai. But
Uh-huh.
today we will try making just simple ginger tea, ginger chai, adrak chai, and I generally drink coffee. So, but I love my tea as well. So I
Yeah,
at least need 2 cups a day,
I see. All
either
right.
a tea or a coffee. But I know my family; they cannot live without tea, and they drink almost 5, 6 cups of tea every day.
I will tell you, my family cannot live without me having coffee. They have it, but I don't have my coffee. All right. So I think so do I need to bring it to a boil with the milk? I know that it's
Yes.
always a bit sensitive, so I don't want it to have it overcooked.
Yeah, so we need to boil this. Once it comes to boiling temperature, that's when we can be taking out a teaspoon, like a small teaspoon.
Okay.
Oops, looks like my milk has curdled a bit, so I'm just gonna use some other milk. Sorry, looks like my milk curdled, so I just have to uh, use some fresh milk in that case.
Yeah.
Never mind. Yes, so we have to boil the milk and the water together for a good 2 minutes. Once like you can see it's boiling, that's when we put 1 small teaspoon of chai.
Okay.
And yeah, you could just watch me repeating the process from the beginning again.
Yeah. So I have to tell you this. This is the beauty of a live session is that um, you have frozen on my screen, and so I have to listen to your instructions very carefully. There's no
Oh,
image.
all right. Okay,
That's
so
the beauty of it.
I'll try to go slow so that you can hear me. Yeah.
All right. So I have my water. I have my milk. All of that has boiled. And so what do you do next?
Okay. So you take a teaspoon, and here's my chai patti, as well as you have the same. So you can just take this much, like 1 teaspoon,
Uh-huh.
and put it in the boiling milk.
Okay. But it should still be boiling.
Yeah, it should be boiling. So you can just put you can reduce the flame.
Okay, got it. I turned it off because it was starting to, ooh, it's already starting to look delicious.
Yeah. Once you stir it little well, after that you can
Oh,
add your
it smells,
ginger. So you
it
can
smells
grate your
so good.
ginger.
So then you put ginger in now?
Yes, we put ginger, the grated ginger that you have kept aside. So you can take a
How much?
little bit of this much of
How much?
ginger would do. So yeah. if you see.
So right before you guys came on, we were comparing techniques, and I grade with this. Use the back of the knife. And Upasana is much more sophisticated since she uses an actual grater.
It looks like your chai is going to be ready before mine. So yeah, you get to drink. You're pretty pro at it, I have to say.
I'm trying, especially because I don't have the visual now, and so I just have to kind of trust my senses.
Oh, am I frozen completely?
No, just for me.
All right.
Everyone is seeing you just fine, so.
We have somebody asking, so what are we making? We are making Indian chai, which is
Stephanie!
Yes.
So Stephanie Constable is a dear friend of mine here in Colorado Springs, and it's a lot of pressure that she's watching right now because she's an incredible, incredible cook. She has a wonderful blog website where she shares all her incredible skills called the Copper Mariposa. So if you don't know her, please go to her website. She's an extremely talented person and has a huge, big, warm heart as well. So love on her. My chai is looking delicious. I'm not gonna, oh, like you can't really see it, but
I can't see that.
but it is like just the perfect color. It's making me so happy.
That's great. So now you have to add sugar as per your taste.
Oh, okay. So just to taste.
Yeah, for taste, like according to your taste. Like I would like generally 1 small teaspoon of sugar does. But if you don't want it too sweet, then you can add half a teaspoon.
I see. And I don't know if you can see this. This is a tin container that belongs to Jeff's grandmother, and she has, and we have a tin container like these from for sugar, flour, all sorts of things. I love them.
That's really nice.
Is your tea boiling?
I'm almost done, so I'm gonna add my sugar. So yeah, I think we can drink tea together
Yum.
while we make our next thing.
Ooh, it's good. I can taste the ginger too.
Can you smell it?
Mm-hmm. It smells so good.
Perfect. I think your chai would be ready, so you can just take a strainer and pour it in your cup.
Okay. I do not have a strainer, so I have to be very careful. But normally you would use a strainer to catch all the ginger and the tea leaves, right?
Yeah, yeah. But do you have something like in your kettle, as in, something?
No, but no, I think I did a pretty good job because all the tea is in here.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes.
Perfect.
Oh, I'm so excited about this.
My tea looks ready as well, so I'm just gonna take out my strainer.
Yum. I think I might need a little bit more tea. Hi, Chua.
Can you
Just so
see
everyone
that?
knows, my house is usually not this quiet. Everyone has been relegated to the basement, probably to watch a movie.
That's okay. I've asked my partner if he can just go out for dinner with his friends.
Hi, Lisa. I see you.
Awesome. My chai is ready as well.
Wonderful.
So here's my chai. This is how it looks.
Looks delicious.
Awesome. Should we switch over to the next recipe?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what are we making next?
So we are going to make dosa,
Okay.
which is a very delicious, easy Indian breakfast. Somewhere close to, like, we could be a sour pancake. So we
Yeah.
are not really making it from the scratch because it takes a lot of process, and where you need to ferment rice and one special kind of lentil. So we just thought that would require 12 hours of preparation time. So, so which is why
We bought it from
yeah,
Amazon.
correct. So we got the same MTR ready-made dosa pack. So for that, what you could be doing is you can use like a big serving spoon or like a tablespoon, and just take 2 tablespoons to make one dosa. For one dosa, you can use 2 tablespoons of the, instant mix.
Okay. So two tablespoons, just like your regular, like.
Yeah, yeah.
So 1 and 2. Okay.
Yeah. So this much.
This much. I mean, it's so little, right?
Yeah. You can add you can add a little bit more, like little more.
A little bit more.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's the lens or the angle. Yeah, looks good.
Okay. There it is. Okay.
Awesome. All right. So we are going to take out another separate, bowl. Take like a small bowl in which you can take out your dahi, which is your yogurt. So
Okay.
yeah.
So we had a long conversation about what curd was. Figured out that it's just plain yogurt. So that's what I have here. So how much of the yogurt do I use?
This much, like 1 tablespoon again.
1 tablespoon, and I put it in a separate small bowl.
Yes, please.
Okay.
And we need to whisk it a little bit so that for that we need to use again 1 tablespoon of water.
1 tablespoon of water.
Yeah. Looks like my yogurt is a little thick, so I might use another tablespoon.
And you put it in the milk?
Yeah, you put it in the curd, you put it in the yogurt, and just whisk it.
Okay. In the curd. In the yogurt. I called it milk. Yeah.
Oh.
I misspoke. Well,
Yeah,
how liquid does it need to be?
Sorry, I missed you.
How liquid does it need to be?
It has to be completely liquidy.
Oh, so I might need to add a little bit more then.
Yes.
Hi, Kirsten. Long time no see. Hi, Saba. Hi, Iram. So does it have to be liquid like milk?
Yeah, it has to be liquid like milk, and we can add additional water to the mix later.
I see.
Yeah. I think don't use hot water. Probably it would just coagulate.
Too late. I'm gonna have to add some cold water.
Just add that mix that you prepared in the mix powder.
When you start start again. So 1, and then cold water.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. From normal water.
No worries. Okay, I think I'm getting there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So it has to be, the consistency has to be like semi-liquid.
Yeah, like this, right?
Yeah, that's good. So now you can pour it in the mix and just, you know.
All right, here it goes. Okay, I'm gonna have a little bit of my chai. So the paste is very, very thick.
So you need to add water. I'll just show you the consistency. Yeah. I have done mine so that you understand how. Yeah. So look here. So this is the type of consistency. It's like a pancake batter.
Yeah.
Same consistency.
I mean, it seems more liquid than a pancake batter, though. It's more like I guess it's a little bit in between, like a pancake and a crepe batter.
Can I see your consistency once?
Sure. Let me get a spoon. The test here, like this.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Some people like to add salt in it, but I think this, mix already has salt. So yeah,
I see. It does have a little bit of salt.
Okay, so you can add a little bit of salt. Even I'll add a little
So
bit of.
should I fire up my pan or?
Yes, yes. You can fire up your pan and add either white oil or ghee, which is saturated butter, basically.
Yeah. So here's the pan that I use.
Awesome.
For crepes.
That's perfect. So I'm gonna make my dosa with ghee.
I don't have ghee, so I will use cooking oil.
Perfect. That's completely fine.
And so the trick in a lot of households, French households, is that once you put the oil in the pan, you actually rub it with a paper towel. I don't know if that's allowed in India. Make dosa, but it reduces the amount of
Yeah. It's been like I would say, a 21st century skill that most Indian households have started adopting. Because otherwise, when I used to go to my grandmother's house for like a summer vacation, she would just put enormous amount of ghee, saying that, how I have lost weight and I should be having ghee and butter more.
So simple. Okay, so you told me to have a ladle ready.
Yeah. Awesome. So once your pan is ready, like it's hot enough, then you can just take generous amount of the batter in your ladle.
Okay.
And then just spread it like a pancake.
So do you spread it, because I can't see you, do you spread it with a spoon like this?
Yeah, you're doing perfect.
Okay. I don't know if it's perfect, but it will be something.
Same here. Looks like this.
Looks like that for me.
Awesome. You can just increase the flame a little bit so that it gets crispier.
So how do I know, once I put the batter on it, how do I know that it's ready to be flipped?
Okay. So the sides of the dosa, you just need to check it with with a flat spoon or like a flat, yeah, that's the thing that you could be using, just to see if it's done. Once it becomes golden along the sides, then it's ready to flip. You can just flip
Got
it.
it. Yeah. Because with the pancakes, you know that it's ready. I mean, you have to check as well, but you know when it's ready when you get the bubbles popping out.
Mm-hmm.
And then same thing
Yes.
with crepes as well. They're so thin that you can actually see the crepe getting gold.
Yeah, same here. So you can actually understand once it's getting cooked, the color kind of changes, and
Uh-huh.
it rises up a little bit. So
Yeah.
that's when it's ready to flip.
Mhm. So then, what do you eat dosa with?
So generally, so mine is ready to flip. So I think yours for sure would be yes, perfect.
Yes. What it looks
Uh,
like.
wow, that looks perfect. The color has come very well. So yeah,
I hope so.
we generally have different types of dosa, but the authentic traditional dosa is if you're having a plain dosa, then you have it with sambar, which is a lentil soup with lots of vegetables in it, and it's very tangy and spicy. And we
Ah,
also have insides coconut chutney, which is made out of fresh coconut and curry leaves and other Indian spices and red chili.
got
And
it.
yeah, so there are varieties how you serve, but the masala dosa, which is my favorite, so you just have it with potatoes. So it's a very simple one where you just boil your potatoes and then just make
Yeah,
make it with curry leaves and onion. That's it.
that's how I've had it as well, is with like curried potatoes in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's mostly a savory type of like it would normally go with more of a savory dish.
Yeah, this is a savory dish, not a dessert. Yeah. So
Fun.
it's pretty common to have in Indian households as breakfast.
Hmm. Oh, good. So we didn't just make it up.
No, we didn't.
Okay. And so
All
then
right.
is
Yes.
it supposed to be crispy or is it supposed to
Can I
be
can I can I can
a
I
little
have a
bit in the
look?
middle?
So it's
Yeah.
not supposed to be completely. Oh yeah, this is good. You can take it out.
Okay.
Mine is ready as well. So yeah.
Should we try to make another one?
Yeah, go for it. Let's make one. Then we can have chai and dosa.
Let me try to make one more and then we'll sit down and chat.
Oops.
So I wanted to let people know that our special guest today is Sabah Siddiqui, who's our program associate in India. She has been carrying this whole period of 10 days for the International Day of the Girl with her right hand woman, Vaishu. So Saba will be joining us in just a few minutes as we finish our second dosa, so that she can what she's learned, what she's heard on the ground, and how the conversations really went. You really want to stick around because she is not only has done all of the work and can speak directly to what those conversations are. But she's also has an incredibly warm and fun personality, and so I guarantee you it will be a great conversation.
Yeah, I just left Saba a message. I think she's all excited to join us.
Yay! Hi, Melody. Hi, Baishu. Speaking of Baishu, the right-hand woman. This one is a lot darker.
Ooh.
And I lost it. It literally fell out of my pants. So is it supposed to be thin? Is it supposed to be very thick? What's the right thickness?
Varies. Like generally, when you go out to have dosa, they make it as crispy as paper. So I have never been able to make that at home. So yeah, this is fine.
Hi, Freen.
I think just like the thicker dosas are generally easy to make. I would say. Oh wow, that one's ready already.
Yes. So I would say for me, the thickness ended up being like a quarter of an inch, which means nothing to you because you live in the real world of the metric system. But I would say it's like somewhere between the thickness of a crepe and the thickness of a pancake.
Oh, that's nice. Actually, that's not bad. Like if it's closer to the crepe, then that's fine. That's how it should be.
Okay, good. All right, so all my burners are off. Go sit down at the kitchen and bring you all with me.
While I just get done with my second dosa, it's just taking a little time.
It's probably because yours is probably better cooked than mine is. I just cannot. So somehow we made it. Saba and we'll invite Saba to come in and join us in this moment. Somehow I made it without actually watching you do this. So
that's really smart of you. I have to say that, like, you follow the instructions and the directions and just picked it up so swiftly.
It's the art of going live. You know, you do what you can.
Yes. Looks like my second dosa is almost done.
So what do you eat it when you eat it for breakfast like this? Do you put anything extra on it, or do you just roll it up and eat it?
Oh, so like I told you, like we generally have it with the potato filling that we make, and otherwise the lentil stew, which is sambar with lots of vegetables in it, and it's so yeah, either we have it with the potato stuffing or just plain dosa with sambar.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna go get some jam and French it up a little bit. And I apologize to everyone that might offend. I'll be right back.
Okay, good.
All right.
Ready? Just gonna switch over.
Can I see how yours turned out?
Not very fancy. Very close to yours.
Yep.
Can you see it?
I can see it on my Facebook, yeah, because I have to have you on Facebook on my phone.
That's why I was wondering if I could hear myself.
No, I have it on mute. I have it on mute, but it looks like
Okay, perfect. So let me move with my cup of tea and dosa to my dining table.
great.
I'll just get my dosa.
I'm sorry. I really sorry. It was so good. It makes me so happy.
Are you enjoying it?
Mm-hmm. It's good. It's golden. It's just a teeny bit crispy, but it's also very and gooey in the middle.
Is
It's
it
really
little in between, in the middle?
It's just soft in the middle.
Ah,
Mm-hmm.
probably, which means you would have let it cook for another few seconds.
Ah, because you want it to be more crispy.
Generally, it's supposed to be the same, as in it's not supposed to be runny or gooey. So it has to be crispy throughout the circumference.
I see. So maybe gooey is not the right word to describe soft in the middle. It's like crispy on the outside.
Yeah. Okay.
So Saba should be joining us any
Yes.
minute now.
Yeah, I just left her a text. I think she's just going to join us in a minute.
Mm-hmm. So let me give a little bit of background for what happened over the last 10 days. Saba and Vaishu, our program associates in India, reached out to our Shadhika scholars and are making her story fellows, and invited them to share the Girls' Bill of Rights, which is right here. That lays out 10 rights, which we've been highlighting over the last 10 days on our social media. Feel free to go back and look at our Instagram and our Facebook. It will tell you what the 10 rights are. And so over the last 10 days, all the scholars and the fellows invited 10 girls and boys in their community to talk about the girls' Bill of Rights, trying to what each of these rights mean. Some of them were more straightforward to them, felt more easy to understand, and then some required a little bit more explanation. And as you can imagine, trying to have these conversations during COVID when there's no real way to be able to connect in person has been challenging. And so while we wait for Saba to connect here, Upasana, on your conversation with Saba, would you share with us kind of how that whole process went?
Yeah, I think it was really, a thoughtful process in a way, or an initiative. And this was our year two to really launch this campaign on International Day for Girls. And Sabah was able to do that into 2019 as well, and in 2020, both Sabah and Vaishu, as mentioned, got together, and this was their project, which they took the ownership and led from the day one itself. And through this, they got not only interacted with the immediate scholars and our Shadhika Her Story interns, but it also involved a lot of coaching and mentorship where they were able to interact with these young women on the Girls' Bill of Rights, and it they had to explain each and every right, which kind of prepared them to really prepare the girls to again transfer that information to their immediate peers. So I think they all began this journey from 1st of October, and from that's when they just interacted with the scholars. Hi Sabah, how are you?
Hello, hello all. I'm good. How are you all? I feel
Good.
I feel so happy to see you both cooking, and I am so hungry now. So that's why I prepared my dosa and tea with me.
Wow,
Oh
that's
my
Yes,
gosh, it looks amazing.
can you
yeah,
show us your dosa? It looks
yes.
very.
It's look like that. So it's not a simple dosa. It's a egg dosa.
Oh wow, there's another twist.
That looks amazing. I am embarrassed that mine looks like this.
Mine look almost the same. So we tried making it out of the instant mix. How was your experience? Did you do everything from the scratch, Sabah?
No, no, no. So this is made by my mom. I told them that I need dosa for today. So she made today morning for breakfast, and we kept for that paste for today's life.
Oh,
Wow.
that's really nice.
Have
Yeah,
to do something, Today is a special day. Like today is International Day of the Girls, and now we are live.
completely, completely. Yeah, yes. So, Sabah, I was just, giving everybody a brief about how your experience was and how we started this campaign. And before that, me was just, sharing, what made us design this entire campaign and what was our objective to run this. And but I think you can do the better justice to this because you kind of took the lead and you have like the real time experience of interacting with the scholars and with our young women leader participants. So yes, so Sabah, do you want to just share a little bit about yourself? How did you join Shadhika and your story with Shadhika?
Yes, yes, of course. Thank you so much, Upasna, and me for giving this opportunity. So, first of all, I would like to congratulations to you all Shadika team, and all scholars, interns, and everyone who took this initiative. And now we are here to talk about. So, as you all know, my name is Sabah Siddiqui. I am working with Shadika as a donor and program associate. I just completed my year at like in the month of September. I'm so happy. Like I've completed, and I was a scholar of Shadika. I've completed my graduation in Bachelor of Accounts and Finance and got scholarship through one of our NGO site called Vacha. Through that, I connected with Shadika, and then I got internship, and then now I am working. So yeah, this is my introduction. So I would like to start talking about this IDG International Day of the Girls, how it started, and what we are doing and what we did in the past 10 days campaign. So the history was like me already spoken about, like last year we did this campaign, and today, like in this time 2020, we are continuing doing this. So last year we started talking about few rights, like menstruation, like how we can talk about such topic about menstruation, safety, health, education. But this time we created a document which is called Girls Bills of Rights. So it has 10 rights, but we have written the details. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so you all can see that those 10 rights, and which Shadika already uploaded every day. So in those rights, we written all the details, like what's the meaning of the right, how we can use, what the example of the right. So our interns, our scholars, and other girls will get to know. So the process was all scholars have to reach out to two girls and have to choose two rights from all out of the 10 rights. So they chose their two rights with their preference and what they feel like it is important to talk, and they chose and they reached out to two girls. And today, like till from 1st October to 10th October, we reached 107 girls. So it is huge.
It is
So
huge.
yeah.
So Sabah, jumping right into the meat of the conversation. Can you tell us a little bit, like what are some of the rights that felt more challenging to explain, and that were a little bit harder for the young women to understand?
Yes, there is few rights. So we do have 10 rights in Girls Bills of Rights, but there are few rights which girls, they heard, maybe they heard their name, but they are not aware
Mm-hmm.
what it is, what's the meaning of that. And there are one right called decision on making body and sexuality. So that's the only right they feel shy, to talk and to explain and make other person comfortable. But then too, they did. There are few girls who chose this right because they said this is the right we never we, no one explained in school, at college, in home, family. Like no one tell about that. But they feel after knowing this, they should explain and they should talk about that because it's we are living in a society where everyone is making us more uncomfortable with our body. Like they are always talking about, like, yeah, we need to we need to feel that this is a dirty thing, like very different things. We don't
Mm-hmm.
need to talk. So this is the difficult for them to explain. And there are one other rights called protection from harmful tradition and enjoyment of positive culture practice. So it's a very, it has a very lengthy thing to explain, but there are few things which they question me. Like, if we are talking about this, if there are dowry system, dowry cultural practice which they are following, so after talking to them and explaining this about, like, we don't need to take dowry and we don't need to give, so they will understand or they will following with them. They are implementing. No, maybe no, because we are just talking, but apart from that, they have one thing, like, maybe when I become parents, or maybe when I'll have my daughter and son, I'll not take dowry. So there are
Mm-hmm.
two cases, like, this society will never understand, and maybe we are the future society people. We will be making a space where we can take these kind of decisions to not take dowry and to not practice such as harmful, harmful
Yeah.
tradition.
So if we can pause here to unpack what you you said and like unpack those two rights specifically. The first one you mentioned was the right to full decision making about their body and sexuality. And then the second right is the right to protection from harmful traditions and enjoyment of positive cultural practices. And I'm just curious to hear, Upasana, what your reaction is to hearing what Sabah is sharing. The fact that having full control over your body is such a basic right, and yet it's not just in India, but especially in India, talking about your body or a woman's body and her sexuality can be so taboo. And so how do we bridge those two things when it's they should have control over their body and it's such a difficult thing culturally to talk about openly?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Sabah, for for sharing that example, because if I have to really think about myself, when I cannot remember if I was ever taught to talk about sexuality, or even if I knew the term called sexuality before I was in college when I studied about it. Because when it comes to one's female's anatomy or body, it just makes everybody very uncomfortable till date, because there is a lot of taboo and cultural norms which are associated, and each and every when I say cultural norms, just to give you an example, only a very few women know about what are some of the ways of taking care of themselves or loving their own body, and just not recognizing it's a commodity, or that is being passed from the family and then to your next owner, that is your husband. So that is just a cultural mindset that is just being that most women in India are being conditioned to from a very early age. So when it comes to conditioning, most we see that young women very immediately their reaction about sex education or about sexuality or about sexual reproductive health rights, there is a big no, or there is always a silence about it, because I feel we lack information, because that level of awareness is not really given to us in a very transparent way, in an immediate space at a family level or at a school level or even at a public level. So that is probably the first I would say the gap which we recognize even with our young women, and secondly, I think along with the deficiency in the information, there also comes a burden of where you don't know how to really articulate this knowledge into action. What are some of the ways of really translating, these
theory to practice?
Yes, to really make it, to simplify this, or what are some of the languages that we use in our day-to-day life, and which can be which are our set of rights, and we should be exercising it more consciously. So that knowledge to practice is always a very big gap.
Yeah. And I find it to be so it's such a challenging thing, right? How can you assert your rights if there's no language or limited language to talk about it, and if there's no space for you to be able to talk about it without shame and without guilt, And so I think that's where we the three of us have talked about that, how challenging it is for the girls to be able to translate the theory that looks great on paper and then the no is right, but when you don't have the language, when you don't whether because you haven't learned it or because it just doesn't exist in your own local language. We've talked about that and how hard it would be for in my own context, for to use, you know, existing Hmong language to talk about your sexuality in an open way. And when you can't do that, then how are you able to advocate for those rights if the language doesn't exist?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
along with that, yes, Saba, go ahead. Like,
No, Upasna, go ahead.
yeah, sorry, I just want to add one thing which I have personally felt is, we often get very nervous when we have to talk about, body or sexuality, or when it comes to sex, because it's always perceived in a very negative way. Like even in Indian, in Indian education setup, I know we had these challenges about really having sex education included in schools or not. Is it really a necessary thing, or is it something that would make you more, promiscuous? So that was also another battle which young folks have had to go through. So
Yeah. Which is a slippery slope that does not exist.
Yeah.
Just because you talk about it does not mean it's going to happen. You just giving that person to be able to make a fully informed, smart decision about her own body.
yeah,
Yes, yes. So here I want to include two things. So like we are on live, so we are talking in live, and just want to give the live example to relate with this. So here I am talking to you all, to both and to all the audience, like who is following Shadhika. So I never talk about these rights, like at home in front of my dad and brother. I always talk about with my mother, but today I am talking these words, I am talking about these words and using these words in front of them. I am I'm feeling so proud, but if I'm
right.
thinking about like how, like why just I am talking today and just in front of him today only. But the history was, they never created an atmosphere to talk, to explain these. Even same with our scholars, with other girls, they never
Yeah.
created. They always talk about like you should cover your body, you should behave like this, but they never say that the consent is matter,
Yeah,
when we need to say yes and when we say to no, it's very important for all the girls. And they never say like we need to love our body, we need to love ourselves. So they
Yeah.
always try to say negative things, and that negative impacts they it filled into our mind, and then from that time only they feel shy, they feel
correct.
uncomfortable, they feel very different, very unique world in
Yeah,
front of this topic. So same thing happened with them, and even when they started talking to this, they build their confidence, they build their leadership, that critical thinking and all the leadership skill and all the skills they build, and they started talking, and most of the scholars have chose these rights. So I am so happy after listening from our directly from program participants.
I hear pitter patter behind me, and I believe this is my to say hello. This is Hiram, and this is Sienna. And this is my husband, Jeff.
Hello.
And this is what it looks like to do work from home. Is it good? Is it yummy? All right. And I think that what I love about what you're saying, Saba, is that it's not just about giving the tools for these girls and young women and young boys to be able to be confident, to know what their rights are. to have and to have a language to be able to talk about it, but it's also how do we create an environment of empowerment where they can talk about these things and not feel like they're stepping into into taboo territory. How do we make sure that the grown-ups around them, the families, the communities around them, give them the space and respect their leadership in wanting to change some of these norms without changing the culture. And that's why I thought it was so interesting, Saba, when you mentioned that one of the other right that was difficult for the young women to talk about was the protection, their protection from harmful traditions and being able to enjoy positive cultural practices. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, would love to. So, like, when you know, like when we shared this document, the whole explanation with them, they have so many questions. Like, if we are talking about this, so can if people are able to understand what we are saying, are they just listening and or just listening and leave on that time? So there are few questions about it, specifically like protection from harmful tradition. So there are more, we like we as a girl, we will try, we will try to make an awareness, but there are the limitation, there are the line our society and people have made. When whatever we are saying, they never allow us to accept that, and to understand, like the dowry system, the child marriage, and whatever they have positive traditional, which we are not happy with that, but then too we need to involve, you know so they were talking about this.
Mm-hmm. Upasana, do you have any reaction to that?
Yeah, I think like what hearing Sabah and her experience, what I feel is, when it comes to really unfolding uh, the pieces of information that we are providing to our young women to be able to, place it in a more positive way in their day-to-day life, that's where the hurdle begins. So,
Mm-hmm.
like you said me earlier, it's just a conducive environment which encourages them to really believe in themselves, and have that confidence to think that what they are asking for is right, and it's correct, and it's their basic rights. So yeah, it does take a lot of courage, but I think that also takes a lot of courage to really identify your position, or your challenges in your family, or in your in your immediate spaces in your community, and being able to work on that individually or collectively. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think similarly with the traditional, we already have legal system to keep a check on, early forced marriage, child marriages in India. But yet the numbers are pretty grave when it comes to how many child marriages or early forced marriages are happening in India today. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and with the pandemic, and with the that has only spiked. But which kind of really which makes me feel more critical, that even having a policy or having a legal system in place, is it to ensure that these harmful traditional practices are not being executed on ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's really the matter of, again, um, you know uh, what is it the family thinks what is the family is ready to accept and what is the family is not ready to accept in their environment. Because when it comes to there are many other socioeconomic factors that really influence these negative decisions that families take. Like, for example, you meant early forced marriage and even dowry. Like, for example, dowry we see is is an existing phenomenon across all the status, actually across all the classes in Indian society. Even if you are learned, even if you belong to a very top-notch educated family, trust me, in some parts of India, where in Bihar, where the dowry is actually evaluated on the basis of your degree that you hold. Like, if your groom has a degree of Masters in Business Administration, then his dowry amount is equivalent to millions of Indian rupees. And
Yeah.
and
So
it's
there's
vice
actually
versa.
an advantage of,
Yeah.
of to allow girls and young women to pursue education and to pursue work outside of the home. I think that conversation of like is a perennial one of being able to advocate and assert human rights versus cultural norms, and that like, in order to be respectful of cultural norms, we have to practice human rights in a more relative way, and that dichotomy is just does not exist. What it translates is a lack of imagination on our part, but also a very paternalistic and patriarchal idea of what might happen give people their full rights, that they might decide to change their culture altogether, and there's no, and I think that we can acknowledge that some aspects are going to change, but it's more the manifestation of those cultural values that might change. I don't know that it would change the cultural values themselves. But I think that that cultural argument to prevent girls, to prevent boys, to prevent women to practice their full rights is a false dichotomy that but people love to engage in that conversation and make that argument.
Yeah. And I think along with that, it's also like, fear of, immediate backlash from the society, what the society would say. Like, they always have that level of justification ready. We do not believe in this, regressive practice. We do not believe in this cultural practice, but this is something which validates our position, or in a particular community or a clan we belong to. We cannot really go against them. That would be they're scared to really move the position that they hold in their society.
Yes.
Saba,
So,
you were going to add something?
yes, would love to. So, here is the thing, like, we do have rights, and the rights are so related with that. Like, if I am talking about, child marriage, so maybe if our girls, if our, like, every girl, if they will get education, so they will get awareness in themselves. They are making their self-awareness. Like, what is education? When they started going school. So, but if they are not going to school, if they are drop out, so they will get married, in an early age, or even when like, if I'm talking about rights, so everything is related with the education. When our girls started getting education, then only they can take their own decision, then only they can know about their body and and everything. Maybe they are aware about the documents we have one right documents. So there are so many things which is just related with the with the awareness. So that's why our girls are always, in the whole 10 days campaign, they always try to push other girls. If there are girls who dropped out, so they started having conversation which is not a part of the detailed explanation in the girls books of right. But then too they did. They started talking about, like, we do have government school, we do have government college. Maybe if we are facing financial issue, maybe they can connect over there. We do have scholarship facility. Or if you don't have any documents, we need to make these documents which will be using for the scholarship process, and maybe they can get government scheme. So our scholars and interns, they just made these whole 10 days amazing, with the
Mhm.
critical thinking, with the way they are taking initiative, the way they are following up with those thoughts. So
Yeah. And maybe
Yeah.
that's how we can end this conversation, which I so appreciate you lifting up, Sabad, is this idea that this is only the beginning, and this is whatever happens over the course of these 10 days, these last days, that's something that should happen every day, 365 days a year. And that's
Yeah.
what I love about the work that we do here at Shadhika, is that there's so much rights education that's happening on the ground through our local partners, but there's also so much skills building that happens for these girls to feel good in their skin, for them to know that they have peer support, to know that they have a backbone of community support, to really empower them to make decisions in their for their own bodies, within their families, and in their communities. They can really play that critical role. I think one thing that really struck me um, in some of the things that we were seeing coming out of stations is girls saying, I never knew that I had rights. And the three of us talked about that, and how what is closer to the reality is that they always knew there was something that was not right. But by having these conversations, now they have a framework and they have language to explain why decisions that were made around them about their bodies and their future didn't feel right. And in a lot of ways, it mirrors some of the racial justice conversations that are happening, that is happening here in the US, where to break the door open for all of us to be able to acknowledge that there's a problem, normalize and to socialize the experience of BIPOC communities, and finally give us language that we can use to describe something that we've always felt, that we always knew it was not right. And in a lot of ways, I'm so proud of what's happened over the last 10 days in India through our scholars and through our fellows, because in a lot of ways, that's exactly what's happened, is that we've given these girls and these young women the language and the framework that they need to be able to live their fullest life. And so with that, I'd like to close this conversation. It was so fun to be able to connect with the two of you. It's so fun to make chai and dosa. And again, I can't express enough gratitude for Saba and Vaishu for having carried this entire week of activities around the International Day of the Girl by themselves, and to create an initiative that's really meant to pay forward. So congratulations on an extremely successful 10 days.
Yeah. I think I would echo the same, Saba. Like, this entire campaign would have been impossible without the great work that Vaishu and you have put together. And it just demonstrated that, when we talk about when we talk about passing on the leadership and creating second line leaders, that's what we saw, like how both of you encouraged like 100 and plus young women on ground to really enhance their skills and learn how to really use simple skills and talk about their set of rights. So yeah, more power to that.
thank you so much, me and Upasna, So just want to like include one or two things which I feel it's very very important to say in the beautiful platform. So like doing this and with our fellows and with scholars, so we created a chain, like I and Vaishu
Mhm.
had passed information and documents to interns. Interns trained our scholars and scholars trained our girls, and we got like from girls, like we got feedback from girls that they will be continuing sharing. It's not just about like we just need to stop on in this 10 days only. We need to continue, we need to share as much as we can. So even
Absolutely.
we, yes, we got two comments. I really like that two comments. The one is, I am so confident after knowing this, now I can raise my voice. So that word confident, it hits me really hard. Like what, they feel confident after knowing this, when
Yeah.
they feel like that. And the second was, I'm so happy to know my rights, the my rights. So I feel so happy when they highlighted that. I feel so happy to know my rights, which they now they feel like now now I am aware about my rights. Right now I can spread. Now I can stand for myself, for others. So whole 10 days it gave me a lot of learning and experience, a good experience with all of you. And thank you so much for always guiding me like a whole Shadika team. So yeah, thank you so much everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for those very positive words as we close this conversation. Thank you for logging on and following us. And thank you for your words of encouragement throughout this week and today. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as we did. Have a
Thank
great
you.
Sunday.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
congratulations. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.